Hello and welcome to Anime Memories, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about Please Twins. A few months ago I talked about Please Teacher, which was an enjoyable yet flawed romance series. This is actually the sequel, except instead of focusing on the teacher fetish, it focuses on incest. Yeah, this definitely isn't going to be for everyone. However, there have been a few anime about sibling relationships that were pretty good. And I remember really enjoying this as a teenager, but it has been about 10 years since I've watched it, so hopefully it still holds up. Maiku, also known as Mike in the English version, is an orphan who lives alone, making a living off being a freelance programmer. That is until he meets two girls who both claim to be his twin sister. Mike must figure out which of these girls he's related to, while also dealing with these confusing feelings that come up when living with two attractive young women. Now, it would probably be best if I get the elephant in the room out of the way first. Incest is a very controversial topic, so how do they handle it here? Poorly. They don't give it any kind of weight. If anything, they play it up as a joke. Oh gosh, Mike might end up fucking his sister. What's he gonna do? This issue is further amplified by Mataku, who was a nothing character in Please Teacher, but here, he constantly stalks his little sister.
Mine are alright, see?
What happened, Haruko?
I was always thinking about why. Why would they turn this guy into such a pervert? The only thing I could come up with is to make Mike look better by comparison. It's like they're saying, you know what, sure, what Mike is doing is kinda creepy, but at least he's not this asshole, right? The biggest problem I have is that they don't address any of the negative effects that usually come up when dating a family member. They do skim over the fact that sibling relationships are taboo, but they don't go deep enough. I have never been triggered by incest. Honestly, as long as both parties are consenting adults, I don't give a shit. You can have sex with whoever you want. However, I would have appreciated them handling this topic with a lot more care. If you're able to get past that though, this anime is actually pretty funny.
We couldn't help fantasizing about them. Hey guys, we're not fantasizing. They're gay! No!
This was really surprising. Please Teacher had some good jokes, but it wasn't anywhere near as funny as this. Sure, the jokes here are fairly lowbrow, but they were consistently making me laugh, so it's probably one of the show's strong points. Another aspect that was surprising was the amount of sweet moments. Mike has grown up with nobody, and now he finally has people that he can call family. It was genuinely heartwarming to see these three begin to care about each other and grow into a family. One part that isn't quite as strong is the romance. If this was a regular anime, everything in here would be pretty mediocre. It's the same generic love triangle crap that has been done to death. The characters also display one of my most hated traits in romance anime: cowardice. You know those characters that love someone. They love them so much that it hurts. It hurts so deeply, but they could never tell them, oh no, because that would ruin their current relationship or some other crap. I believe that cowardice is mostly used to stall. It drags out the story so that the big confession can be saved for the end. While doing this ensures a climactic ending, it usually means that everything leading up to that is boring as hell. And the fact that the main love interests are possible relatives, it means that the romance here is both mediocre and awkward. The main romances boil down to, oh, we have feelings for each other, but we might be related. Oh, I'm so confused. As you can imagine, this isn't very compelling. It also doesn't help that in the later episodes, the amount of romance starts to significantly outweigh the amount of comedy. It went from being this fun, goofy little show into a melodramatic bore. Now, with a fetish anime like this comes fan service. Lots and lots of fan service. This didn't really bother me too much, However, I could see it bothering other anime fans. So, if you have an aversion to blatant amounts of cleavage and nudity, and by the way, yes, there is full-on nudity in here, you might want to stay away. When it comes to the characters, most of them start off as one-note archetypes. We have the snarky protagonist, the tomboy, the cheeky Lolita, the senpai that's crushing on the protagonist, and the shy girl that faints all the time. Most of the cast receive backstories that help give them a bit more complexity, however they don't stray too far from these archetypes. I will say though that this anime spends a good amount of time developing its characters, so I was still able to feel empathy towards them, especially Mike. However, their lack of originality and the subpar romance kept me from connecting with them as much as I wanted to. The only character that stood out was Shimazaki because he's unique.
Anyone?
Oh wow, I'm getting kind of wet. Back off!
Not only is he unbelievably hilarious, but he's also a supportive friend. He doesn't have a huge amount of depth, but he would have to be one of my favourite comedy relief characters in all of anime. That's a big accomplishment considering that the rest of the cast are fairly uninteresting. And in the technical department we have averageness. The art is fine, the animation is fine, and the soundtrack is, well, fine. I guess being competent isn't a bad thing, so I shouldn't be ragging on it too much. But it was still disappointing that most of the technical aspects didn't go past the status quo. One aspect that I did find noteworthy though was the voice acting. Some of the dialogue is really corny, but the voice actors do their best to make it seem convincing. And at times, they succeeded. I would be genuinely moved by their performances, even if the writing in the scene wasn't that great. With the premise that it had, I was like, oh no, a show from my childhood is going to be complete crap, but actually, Please Twins turned out to be okay. The comedy and sweet moments were fantastic, however, the romance really held it back. And because of that, I can't recommend this. There are much better romance anime out there, including its predecessor, Please Teacher. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment, and if you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.